Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So as you can see today, I'm not sat alone. I'm not sat in my usual spot as well. I'm currently with my manager Fran. Do you think we're central, by the way?
Maybe I need to be a bit more this
Yeah,
time.
maybe this is a bit.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the
Well,
video?
hi guys, I'm Fran. Here I am.
After 2 years.
Yeah.
Of convincing.
I spend a lot of my days dodging Molly's camera, Instagram stories.
Yeah, that's true.
YouTube.
Actually. We thought today we'd sit down and film this really highly requested video that I've been asked so much to sit down and film this video with Fran. So yeah, today we're just going to sit down and talk through more of the business side of my life, more of the behind the scenes of what goes on behind the scenes, what you guys don't see before that Instagram post goes out, what happens basically before that stage, and what part you have in my life and what you do day to day and how you help me, who's in my team. I think it's something that we've never really spoken about, and I think
there's a lot of behind the scenes what people don't see. Obviously people see you turn up on Instagram, people see you do these YouTube deals, see these amazing collaborations, but I guess really this is like a little snippet into what goes on in the background, how we get to that point.
Yeah, I was scrolling through the sheer amount of questions I got for Fran, and I've never received so many. It's happening, so I hope you guys appreciate this because I've had to basically pull her by her hair. First question, did you meet Molly off the plane from Love Island, and how did you meet Fran? So that's like two questions combined.
So yeah, I did meet Molly off a plane from Love Island. I was at the airport when you arrived back with Tommy. I was with your mum, your dad, your family, your nan. Cameras were everywhere. I was obviously well out of the way. And I was there waiting for her, and actually that's the very first time I met Molly.
Yeah.
And when she came off the plane, her family were like, "This is Fran." And Molly was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's hard to explain really what happened, but basically whilst I was in Love Island, I basically had set up an email account for my emails just to flood into whilst I was in there, and when I came out I was going to appoint myself a manager, but because things became so hectic whilst I was in there and my family just couldn't deal with like the sheer amount of emails that were coming in, and my sister couldn't deal with like the pressure of it because it's a huge thing, my family basically appointed Fran in that time to be like a stand-in manager, I guess.
Yeah, so it was a really difficult situation for me because I'd never met Molly before, and I'm trying to help and give advice to a family of someone I've never met before, and at which point, you know, it was a bit like, oh, where's the line? How much can I help without knowing what you would want and what your family are asking me to do? When Molly came out, there was no obligation for Molly to, you know, be my client. It was more a case of, I've kind of fell into this role that I never intended to be in.
Definitely.
And I had all these options for her, but I actually wanted her to go and meet other management. I didn't want her to feel pressured.
My mum was literally inviting Fran round for lasagna and shepherd's pie. Like, you basically became part of my family, like, without me even knowing her. But
I mean, I was sat there eating chili con carne with your nan the night before we went to the airport.
What do you actually do for Molly? What is your role? Do you source her work, and how does it work? They're quite long-winded questions, but basically, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, what is your job? There's no short answer, basically.
Where do I start?
Yeah.
I mean, the first and foremost thing is doing all your brand collaborations. So obviously as a manager, a normal manager would do all the brand collaborations, endorsements, picking up the deals, going from the point of receiving an email, a brand wants to work with you. Is that in your goal? Do you want to kind of work with that kind of brand? So then we have a little review period where we go, you know, does this fit what Molly's trying to achieve? Yes, it does. Okay, it ticks a box. Then we go to, okay, what do you want to offer her? What's your budget? The brand may then say, okay, what's Molly's rate for YouTube, Instagram, appearing at an event? And we go, you know what, her schedule doesn't work for this. We can fit this in, we can't fit that in. We come to an agreement where we go, okay, Molly's gonna deliver this endorsement for a brand. And yeah, that's how it happens.
More so now, you're also like a life manager, like.
Yeah, I mean, the managers that you see in the industry do that. They deal with your brand deals, they deal with your collaborations, they deal with your endorsements.
Yeah.
What I do for you is a lot more than that.
She's not really a manager.
It's more like a counsellor, a psychologist, a bank manager, a mum, a chef,
someone that washes
a driver.
Someone doesn't even need to ask me the question of, do you want to do this deal? Because Fran knows me so well now to the point where she doesn't need to ask me. She knows that I'm not going to work with that brand. How far in advance do you work? Is it seasons, months, or years? I think people definitely don't understand just how busy we get so quickly, especially around like Black Friday period and certain times of the year can be so ridiculously busy that Fran is literally got me booked up, my diary's booked up years in advance.
I mean, a lot of the things we're booked till next summer right now, which is amazing. But it doesn't mean to say that if a job comes in tomorrow and we have a bit of space, we could make it work, but it's just on a case-by-case basis. Molly, do you do other things than social media and influencing? Do you invest, and if so, how did you learn about investing?
That's a good one, because it's something that I definitely haven't always understood, and I'm not afraid to admit that, because I think a lot of 22-year-olds don't have the first clue when it comes to investing and money. Like, I think
this is something you should learn at school.
Yeah, I think it is as well. Like, you don't learn these things at school. Like, you learn algebra, but they don't teach you like what a mortgage is, or like, you know, how to invest your money and how to secure your like yourself, you know, for years to come. You guys know I'm not really a private person, but I think well, yeah, sometimes I share too much. That's another thing. Fran always says I share too much.
Yeah, I'm like, stop talking now.
I actually invested into a hotel brand, hotel chain.
Yeah, a huge hotel chain, which I think is something incredibly amazing to be proud of.
So, next question. What do people not see about you and Molly? What's the best and worst things about working with Molly? A lot of people were asking you, like, what's the best and worst things about working with each other? Look, I know it sounds so cringy, but when I was actually thinking of worst, I was like, I actually don't know for you what I would say, because I feel like, I don't know, like, it just, for me, like, everything you do is just, you're a bit like a perfectionist and you just get everything right. Whereas me, like, I think, I mean, I won't answer it for you, but I'm sure there's a few things.
Well, what do people not see about us? I mean, there's a lot of hours that are worked. I mean...
Well, every day. 24/7.
I wake up at 5 a.m. and I start my emails.
Yeah.
If I've seen up to the baby. I have that 2 hours in the morning when I know I can... Before the world wakes up, I can just go through everything. Then we might do a 12-hour day, and I might be on the phone to Molly till 2 a.m. I think people don't see how much time we put into it.
Fran sees every single part of my day. Fran's been there through every single up and definitely low, like throughout my career, like, you know, when I've gone through hard things with, you know, media, paparazzi, like scandals, if you will, like Fran's the one that kind of has to deal with that as much as I do with that, because...
To pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is you're so hungry for more.
Yeah.
There's never... I think that's the best thing about Molly, that it's like when we've achieved one thing, it's like, what's next? And I'm like, oh, let's have a minute,
it's
you
like
know?
with everything in my life. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like, it's like, I got my car, it's like, right, what car can I work to get in next? It's what, I get this brand collaboration, it's like the best one I've ever got. What brand collaboration can we get next? Like,
But I think that's inspiring, because...
You need to have that.
It's like when you've ticked one goal off, you go, right, okay, now I've done that, I want one 10 times bigger.
Yeah, and as I said at the start, bad, I really don't have anything. Cause
You have to give one bad.
She likes to spend a lot of money on designer things. She's got a shopping addiction. Guys, can I just say how bad this camera angle is? And it's honestly got. We started here.
I think it's me. I can't move into the corner like here.
You want to
I need
escape.
to shuffle back here.
She just wants to get out of this video.
I don't really want to be in the video in the first place. What was your big break moment?
It's a good question. We were actually briefly talking about this last night, and my first one was different to yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said...
Oh, I know what I said.
Yeah.
I said that my pinnacle, but it wasn't really my pinnacle because it was like the very first thing that I experienced, but it was when I came out of Love Island, and I basically had this day at the Mayfair Hotel where pretty much every single fast fashion brand that I had ever worked with came and said they wanted me to be like their girl, like their influencer, and to work with them and do like a huge collection with them. Like maybe like 10 brands came, maybe like I don't know how many.
And those 10 were originally 100, and we had to whittle them down to 10.
Yeah.
So the demand was unbelievable, and I think you
that
were
was
just...
when I was like, what is going
You were
on?
sat there like, these people want me. These are brands I've only dreamed of working for, and they were fighting about you.
And the things they were offering, I think that was never going to feel real. Like there was brands like offering me cars, like money that I could never even dream of earning, and it was like that for me was like, I think, a pinnacle moment, because I was like, is this what life's going to be like now? Like yours, that Fran thinks was pinnacle, was working with Starbucks, which I do agree. I think that's very, very close to the top.
I think that's because when you look back to some of Molly's really old content, and some of you followers that have followed you since the very start will know, 80% of Molly's content would have a chai tea latte in a hand.
Yeah.
And one of the obvious ones for me is that she should be working for Starbucks. So obviously, one of the first people I reached out to when she came off the show was Starbucks.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 12 months later, you were the first UK influencer Starbucks have ever paid, and you got paid a lot of money to work with a brand that you absolutely love.
Yeah, that
for me was your
That was
first
like-
break moment.
yeah.
But I think your real big break moment is gonna happen
Yeah.
in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely.
People's heads are gonna go,
Yeah.
what's just happened?
Yeah. Basically, we've just signed the biggest deal of my career, and it's with a brand that I am so obsessed with, and I just know you guys are gonna be like really happy.
And it's something we've been working on for about 12 months.
Yeah. Do you ever get frustrated when Molly doesn't want to take a certain job?
Yes and no. Like,
Should we explain what that means a little bit? So that means, like, say for example, if a brand emailed in, offered this collaboration or offered this deal, like to do Instagram posts with them or to work with them really closely, Fran would then come forward to me and say, Molly, I've had this come in, I think this would be really great for you, because she'd only ever put it forward if she did think that this would be great, this is a great brand, it's great money, like, are we doing it? And I say no. What's your reaction if it's something that you think is a real...
well, let me just take a step back there, because just so that people understand, when we make our goals and our plans for the future, we do it in two ways. We do your personal goals. So Molly will say to me, right, Fran, I want to buy a new car, I want a house on this road, I want to be able to take my family on holiday, she tells me her personal goals. So I go, okay, that's fine. So my job is to make sure she achieves that. Then the second thing is she tells me the goals of the brands she wants to work with. So I go, okay, she wants to work with all these brands and I will make it happen. I'll give you one example, this is a good one. A high street fashion brand came along last year, offered me £2 million, which is a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
And said to me, we're obsessed with Molly-Mae, we'd love her to be the face of our brand. We want her to work with us. I thought, brilliant. So I said, how do you feel about that? She said, no. I said, why? You told me you want that house. And she said, no, I don't go and buy my clothes from there. So I said, well, you can start.
Yeah.
You can start buying your clothes from there now. That's another thing what is incredible about you. And I think other influencers aren't this way. And this is one of your best qualities, that if you see ad on any of Molly's posts, you know she genuinely uses and wears and believes in that brand.
Because even when I came out of Love Island and that day where we sat with all those fashion brands, the money offer that I took wasn't actually the highest.
It wasn't the biggest offer.
It wasn't.
As a manager, you can be one of two ways, I think. And this is the difference of different managers. You're a manager working for yourself, or you're a manager working for your client.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely a manager working for my client. If I know Molly doesn't want to do something, I won't put it to her.
Yeah.
And I'm only ever looking out for what's best for you and for your future. How did it make you feel when Molly wanted to remove her filler? And did you advise her to remove her filler? And this is a question that I get asked a lot. She went to go and get some filler. She came out and she filmed a YouTube video straight away when she'd had a filler. And her jaw was very swollen. She'd had jaw filler.
And cheek.
And cheek filler. She filmed a YouTube video. It went out the next day and it went viral. There was press articles till all hours. There was memes all over social media, Twitter, Instagram. And Molly was ringing me crying. And she said, I don't want to throw my phone away.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to go on Instagram again. The screenshot of her jaw going, put it in your video here,
Yeah.
the one everyone knows.
This one. Yeah.
And it broke my heart. It made me really upset. I said, why did you actually want filler? You said to me, because when I was young and on Instagram, I used to look at these girls,
yeah.
and I used to look up to them and think, oh, I can look better if I have lip filler. I can look better if I have jaw filler. And that was what you were following. You were following all these influencers that had that. So you thought that was important for you to have that. And that is so sad.
And scary.
It's scary, yeah.
It's nice now that I can be that girl that people follow And I'm not that girl that I was looking at thinking I need to get all that stuff to look that way, because people now know, because I've shared it so openly, that I don't have any of that anymore, and I feel the best I've ever felt. Like, I feel the most confident in the way I look I've ever felt, and I don't have any of that stuff in my face. So I'm really proud of myself in a way that I can be that positive role model for girls. I'll ask you this.
All right, you go ahead then.
Yeah, sorry about that one. So this one is, did you manage anyone else before Molly? However, I also want to touch on this question, because the most frequently asked question we got asked is how Fran got to where she is now, how she got this job, what did she study at uni, and we really want to make sure anyone that kind of wants to do what Fran does listens to this part now, because it's very like...
Yeah, I think it's a good question, because I wish there was... Everyone asked this to me and everyone asked you.
Yeah.
I wish there was a simple answer to this, but actually there isn't. I wish I could say, study this at school,
go
study this at uni,
yeah, go get this
and
apprenticeship.
this is achievable.
Yeah.
But actually, that's not how it worked. I never intended to be doing this job right now. I didn't go to uni. I didn't study PR. I was always a very sociable person, so I think I knew a lot of people in different areas. And I think that's key to this job, like having connections and knowing certain people.
The first thing you said to me last night was, it's networking.
It is networking. And if the biggest piece of advice I could give anybody that wants to do a kind of similar job would be, get yourselves out there and get meeting people and get experience. Because nothing you can study in life could get you to a job like this.
Like, Fran met me through someone completely
Another
different,
client,
who then she probably met through someone else who
exactly.
Like, it's all about knowing someone that knows someone that also knows someone. Like,
Yeah.
it's about building those connections.
A lot of people were asking me this as well. So I grew an agency for 6 years, which was like my baby, with my business partner. And we had a really successful agency. We've had some amazing clients who I'm all still in touch with now, and it was a huge part of my life. And obviously Molly was part of the agency. People were asking me this, oh, are you not part of the agency anymore? What's the situation?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, thinking there's some juicy gossip, and actually the truth is, there is no juicy gossip. I was having a baby, and I got to a point in my life where I couldn't run an agency, run my own life, run Molly's life, run my other clients' lives, and have a baby, have time for myself, and do everything. I'm not Superwoman.
No.
So actually...
You are, but...
No.
Yeah.
What is your end goal for 5 years' time? It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think...
Like, what's next?
There's always something next. Like, even after this, we'll be like, right, what's next? Like, we've always got something planned. But I think for the next 5 years, I think...
For your personal goals?
Like, personal life.
Yeah, so what do you want to achieve?
Well, my main thing right now, we both know, I want to have a house. Like, I want to own a house.
Oh, we both know.
We both know that. I'll cut you guys up in a vlog about that. But we really, like, Fran really knows how much that means to me. Like, I've got a beautiful car. I'm so lucky to have such an amazing life. But the one thing I am so desperate for is to own the house of my dreams. And
I think because Molly's a perfectionist, we find about 85,000 houses on Rightmove daily basis.
But then
a lot of viewings,
yeah.
But nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah.
I think she should build her own house, because the perfection that she's got in her head, she needs to create.
I'd love to have kids, and that's something that we didn't actually speak about in questions. Like, how do you
No, we
feel
didn't.
one day about me having a kid? I'll be completely honest. Like, sometimes I get really excited by the idea, and I'm like, now, like, I want to have kids now. It takes Fran to make me realise these next couple of years of my life are like the most important years for me to capitalise on and work as hard as I can work to set myself up for life. So I think there's plenty of time to have babies and have all that support.
You never know what may happen.
But
You never know. When that time does come, I know that I've inherited another child.
yes, that's another reason why I think Fran, Ellen and Erin are all like, just hold off, because they also know that they will be giving birth to a child when I have a child one day. What's your relationship like with Tommy as well? We never asked that one.
Someone asked, I had a lot of questions like, do you and Tommy get on, and what do you think of Tommy? Nothing but good things to say about Tommy, and I think Tommy is a huge part of Molly's life, so whatever's a part of Molly's life is a part of my life, and I think it's really important that you have a good relationship with Tommy and I have a good relationship with Tommy, because
100%.
we're all everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe people don't see that, but me and Tommy have a great relationship, and he'll ring me up and be like, hi Fran, how you doing? I'm like, What do you want, Tommy?
Yeah. What flowers do you need sorted for
Yeah.
Molly, Tommy?
Well, I was just thinking, Fran, I was going to get Molly a present. Have you seen anything lately? I'm like, Tommy, you want some ideas?
Yeah. Or like our anniversary will be coming up, and I think you girls also say to him like, Tommy, like, what have you sorted?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're quite good.
But
at
to be honest, he's got some really good ideas himself, and not that long ago you probably saw. I think he kind of rings me for reassurance that Molly will definitely like that, won't she? Like I can't remember what it was for. Was it your anniversary when he did a film night and you had
Harry Potter?
You had a Harry Potter film night, and he said, Fran, I've sorted this. Do you think she'll like it? I was like, I think she'll love it.
Little things like this bracelet, for example, like Fran, obviously, I probably wouldn't say to Tommy, oh, I really want a green Van Cleef bracelet, because I wouldn't say that to him, but
I think when we're somewhere and you're looking at it in a shop and she's been back to the shop 5 times to look at it, and Tommy goes, oh, what shall I get? I'm like, the bracelet.
Yeah.
Who is the real boss, you or Molly? I'll let you answer this one.
Fran is definitely the real boss. And you know, we actually had a really funny example of this the other day. We were, myself, Ellen, and my makeup artist Holly were on a trip, and we were having a conversation, and we were talking about some really cool business thing that we came up with, like an idea. And I am essentially the boss, like I am me. But then Ellen said, we'll have to run it by the boss. And I'm thinking, oh no, not me, sorry, that's not me. Like, I was like, oh no, sorry, that's not me, it's you. Because like you're like viewed as the boss, because the whole business side of thing is you.
Yeah.
So you are like a girl boss.
Okay.
What's coming up in the future, or like?
I think we did that one.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Sauce, guys.
But more than anything, this will never happen again.
Yeah, more than anything, I hope you enjoyed this.
You had your time,
yeah.
we've argued for 6 months about this, and I won't be doing it again.
Yeah.
So if anyone else has got any more questions,
Don't
you
ask
missed,
them.
you missed the slot.
If you didn't get picked, then sorry about that, because
Yeah.
you're never going to get your question asked.
And
basically.
I've got to get back to some work, really.
No, in fairness though, if you do want a part 2, then
There will be no part 2. Absolutely
there might
not.
be. Drive off me.
We've got a lot to do, and
Right. Okay.
you can do part 2.
Alright. Well, anyway, guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I feel like we've actually answered 100 questions, and I'm gonna go through and pick out the ones I think you guys want to hear. So I really hope you've enjoyed hearing all the business gossip from that side of my life, and meeting Fran finally properly, because you guys have been dying to
And
meet
this
her.
is all you'll see.
And now I don't have to keep saying in my vlogs, Fran, my manager. I hope you
They
can
all
say
know I'm a
Fran.
manager.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will see you all in my next one.
Thank
Bye.
you very much. Bye-bye.